One thing you can do
Yes.
is help public sector workers with wages. Lots of calls for pay rises across the public sector, but am I right in saying that nurses, teachers, the police are going to have to settle for a real terms pay cut next year?
Look, the pay review bodies will have to make their recommendations. But what I would, generally speaking,
you set the parameters. The government sets the parameters.
Yeah, generally speaking, what we've had in the last few years is significant pay increase, I think, for 5 million public sector workers.
The median public sector pay award was just 1.4% in the year to March 2022. Imagine the Prime Minister's shock when he finds out inflation has really passed 9% and will likely hit 11% in the autumn. Under successive Conservative governments, including this one, public sector workers have suffered one massive real terms pay cut on top of another for more than a decade. Don't just take my word for it.
While the private sector has seen salaries rise by 4.3% since 2010, the public sector has seen salaries fall by the same amount. And I can show you some of the different jobs. A huge 12.2% hit for the best off doctors, but still 6.4% for those more junior. Midwives have had a 9.9% hit, nurses 7.1%, and teachers ranging from -9% to -4.2%.
What we can't have is a situation in which increases in pay are just wiped out by further increases in prices.
Inflation-busting bonuses are a terrific idea if you're a city boss or banker. But if you're a public sector worker whose pay has fallen short of inflation for years, you're being utterly irresponsible if you ask for a pay rise.
Meanwhile, in the years since the pandemic, we know the top 1% have had huge pay rises, which is perhaps why public sector workers ask, why should our wages be used to keep inflation low?
Less than 12 months ago, Johnson was telling the country this.
That is the direction in which this country is going now, towards a high-wage, high-skill, high productivity, and yes, thereby a low-tax economy.
What he's actually delivered is the highest UK taxation in 70 years, the biggest drop in living standards since 1956, and the lowest projected growth of any major country except sanctioned Russia. And it just gets worse. The OBR has found average real wages will actually be lower in 2026 than they were in 2008.